Look at your phone right now. You are constantly connected, yet completely isolated. You are surrounded by people, yet no one truly knows you. The modern world has built a perfect trap. It tells you that to be successful, you must be loud, you must be seen, and you must constantly pitch yourself to the crowd. You have been trained to fear the silence. You've been conditioned to treat being alone as a failure. But history tells a completely different story. Every empire that fell, every major strategy that changed the world, and every man who built an unshakable character started in the exact same place, absolute, deliberate isolation. This is not a message about giving up on society. This is a blueprint for a quiet, lethal rebellion. When you disappear from the grid, when you stop posting, stop explaining, and stop seeking approval, something shifts in your brain. You stop being a consumer. You become a strategist. Tonight, we break down the brutal mechanics of the dark monk mindset. If you want to build something that lasts, you have to be willing to disappear first. Chapter 1: The Liquidation of Noise. Let's look at a cold fact. The average person spends over 4 hours a day looking at a screen, absorbing the thoughts, anxieties, and opinions of complete strangers. You wake up, and before your brain is even fully conscious, you inject the noise of the world directly into your mind. You are living in a permanent state of reactive panic. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who ruled the entire known world while facing plagues and betrayals, wrote a single sentence that modern self-help gurus love to complicate. Look within. Within is a fountain of good, and will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig. He didn't say go find a mentor. He didn't say look for a community. He said dig inside yourself. When you decide to enter a phase of total isolation, your first enemy isn't loneliness. It is withdrawal. Your brain is addicted to the noise. The first 3 days of silence will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will scream for a distraction. But if you survive that initial panic, the fog clears. You begin to see your life not as you wish it was, but exactly as it is. The liquidation of noise is the price of admission for clarity. If you can't sit in a quiet room for 30 minutes without reaching for your phone, you are not a free man. You are a hostage. Chapter 2: The Currency of Attention. Every time you post a photo, every time you send a text to someone who takes hours to reply, and every time you explain your plans to a friend who doesn't care, you are leaking energy. You are giving away your most valuable asset for free, your attention. In ancient Sparta, young men were sent into the wilderness alone for months during a ritual called a cryptia. They had no support, no comfort, and no audience. They had to survive by their own wits. The goal wasn't just to make them tough. The goal was to teach them the value of absolute self-reliance. When they returned to the city, they were different. They spoke less. They moved with purpose. They didn't seek the approval of the elders because they had already proven their worth to the only judge that mattered, reality. Compare that to the modern man. He announces his goals before he even starts. He tells everyone he is going to the gym, starting a business, or changing his life. And what happens? He gets a small, cheap hit of dopamine from the approval of the crowd, and his brain tricks him into thinking he has already achieved a goal. The hunger dies. Isolation cures this disease. When you work in the dark, you keep the hunger sharp. You don't get the reward until the work is finished. Stop telling people what you're going to do. Let the results make the noise for you. Chapter 3: The Strategic Disappearance. There is a massive difference between being lonely and being strategically isolated. Loneliness is passive. It is a feeling of being rejected by the world. Strategic isolation is active. It is you rejecting the world's distractions to focus on execution. Robert Greene, in his analysis of power dynamics throughout history, notes that presence diminishes fame, while absence increases it. The more you are seen, the more common you appear. The more you talk, the more ordinary you sound. When you disappear from your social circle for a defined period, whether it's 3 months or a year, two things happen. First, the people around you realize your value because you are no longer instantly available. You stop being a convenience. Second, and more importantly, you gain the time required to master skill. You cannot build a high-income skill, a powerful physique, or a deep understanding of strategy while hanging out at bars every weekend or chatting in group messages all night. You need blocks of uninterrupted, obsessive focus. You need to become a ghost of the world so you can become a master of your craft. The world will survive without you for a few months. The question is, can you survive without its distractions? Chapter 4: The Weaponization of Boredom. Modern society has completely eliminated boredom. The moment you have a dull second, you pull out your phone. You never let your mind rest, wander, or confront its own deep thoughts. But boredom is actually the engine of creativity and strategy. When you remove the cheap entertainment, your brain enters a state of survival. It begins to look for real problems to solve. This is where real discipline is born. In isolation, you learn to look at your bank account, your physical health, and your relationship status with cold, unblinking objectivity. You stop making excuses because there is no one around to listen to them. Think about a boxer in a training camp. He goes to a remote location. He wakes up at 4 a.m. He eats the same food every day. He hits the heavy bag in silence. There are no fans, no lights, no applause. It is boring. It is repetitive. It is painful. But the fight is won in that camp, months before he steps into the ring under the lights. If you want to win the public battles of life, wealth, status, respect, you must first master the boring, private preparation. You must weaponize boredom. Chapter 5: The Return of the Monk. Every period of isolation must have an end. You do not disappear forever. The goal of the monk mindset is not to escape society, but to conquer it. When you finally step back into the world after a period of intense, solitary focus, you will notice that people look at you differently. Your tone of voice will be calmer. Your eyes will be more focused. You will no longer laugh at stupid jokes just to fit in. You will no longer desperation text people just to feel wanted. You have walked the fire of your own loneliness, and you came out unbroken. You now possess the ultimate leverage in human relationships, the ability to walk away. When you know you can survive completely alone, you are no longer afraid of losing anyone. You cannot be blackmailed. You cannot be manipulated. And you cannot be pressured into making bad decisions. You are dangerous because you are self-contained. The phase of isolation is open to anyone, but chosen by very few. The crowd will always stay at the bottom of the mountain, talking, consuming, and wasting away. The choice to climb into the silence is yours.